What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Dylan back here for another video, and today, right now, I should say, we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans, Week 5 Sunday Night Football matchup that just ended a while ago. It's been a little bit since the game actually ended, but it went into overtime, and the Houston Texans took it in the last couple of minutes of overtime, 19-16. Your final here. Mitch will not be on. I know I'm going to have to express that a couple more times, but Mitch will not be on right now. He was not able to watch the game, or at least most of the game. So I am on this stream by myself, and maybe this is going to be reminiscent of Mitch's live stream from Week 3 when he was solo talking about his Patriots. I'm here talking about my Cowboys. And that situation, he was ranting about his team, and I'm going to be doing the same because this Cowboys game was frustrating as hell to watch in many different aspects. 19-16, it doesn't seem like it's a very high-scoring game. It wasn't. It was a very fun one to watch and a lot of excitement. But again, as a Cowboys fan, you have a lot of stress. Even as you're watching your own team, you have a lot of stress. But knowing that there's so many opportunities on the board to go out there and win the football game, and you can't do it because your coach is so freaking dumb and doesn't understand what the situation is because he's not adequate to be a head coach. It's not that difficult. The defense has set you up with the greatest of possibilities that God has given, and yet you fail. The NFL defenses this season have been amazingly bad this year. Amazingly bad. The NFL in scoring this year has gotten its increase in production to like 48 total points in the game, which is the average right now. The average, which means both teams score about 24 points a game. The Cowboys defense through 5 weeks is the only team that have played 5 games and not given up more than 24 points in a game. The only team. The only 2 other teams that have done that as a whole are the Redskins, who have only played 3 games, and they're going to play one against the Saints tomorrow night. I don't think that's going to stand. And the Chicago Bears, who have a bye this week. You're telling me you're one of 3 teams to have that accomplished, and yet your record is 2-3. That's bullshit. That's garbage. That is insanely garbage. Chris Richard has understood what is going on with this Cowboys team as a defensive group. He understands that there's so much talent on the secondary. Of course, the great defensive lineman, even without David Irvin again this week, has shown up in games. And yes, I know they made up some really good plays. The Texans offense had some really good plays. The DeAndre Hopkins one in overtime was especially a big play that the Cowboys gave up there. But the defense kept them in for most of this game. They were 5 trips in the red zone in regulation. 5 trips. And they scored 1 touchdown. 3 field goals, 1 touchdown, and a stop on downs. And you're telling me you can't win the fucking football game? They gave you every opportunity possible. Let's say the Houston Texans scored touchdowns on every single drive. This is a fucking blowout. This is a blowout if the defense does not play the game that they had in the red zone. It was a bend but not break defense. And what are the Cowboys repaying with? Bullshit. Bullshit. It was a terrible game offensively. Zeke was held to minimal yards, and I know I love saying feed Zeke, and I still agree with that sentiment. But when you put the pressure on Dak, you're not going to win games. The Cowboys aren't going to win games. You can't. Dak is not equipped to get these situations done, it seems. He makes great plays every once in a while. That fucking throw to, I believe it was Gallup, when he should have been sat by J.J. Watt, was fucking great. It was one of the best plays I've seen all season. But the problem is that they can't capitalize. A great play does not matter if you can't score. What did we do after that? We went 3 and out, basically. We could not get a first down because we had negative plays across the board. When you have a negative play on first down, chances are, more likely than not, you're going to have to punt it because it's not a good situation. You're putting yourself at a big risk having to get 2 plays to get the 14, 15 yards, whatever it is, across the board. It's not that easy to do. And when you do that, it hurts the team. They had it multiple times. They took stupid sacks that they shouldn't have taken. And great plays. Again, like I said, that throw was fucking brilliant. And what did we do? We came up with 0 points on the board. If we had gotten even 1 first down after that play, we could have ran the clock out, tried to kick a game-winning field goal with Brett Maher, who has been awesome this season. We've seen how Maher's made a difference on the Cowboys team because all they fucking do on offense is kick field goals. That's all they do. Again, you can have great playmakers, but you have to capitalize on situations. It is not a problem with the Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense is one of the top 10 in the league right now, and there's not a question about it. There's not a doubt in my mind. But if the Cowboys offense can only score 16, 19 points, they're not going to win games. No defense in the history of football can give you an opportunity like that and still win quality games. It's like, you know what a great example of this is? It's like Nebraska. Do you remember a couple years ago when Nebraska had Ndamukong Suh? And Ndamukong Suh was fucking awesome on that team. He was destructive. He was knocking 3 people down at once, right? But their offense was terrible. They were terrible. I think they went 7-5, which in college is pretty bad, honestly, because all they did was rely on one amazing defensive player and they couldn't score. You have to score to win games. The shit pisses me off because, again, the Texans receivers did very well, right? Hopkins had a great game. You got to give him credit for that. Kiki Kuti, I don't know how you pronounce it, but Kiki, he had a great game today as well. Will Fuller didn't even do that much, but the defense showed up in big ways to make the stop. Again, you'll let them get the yards if you can stop them. And again, 3 field goals, 1 touchdown, and 1 turnover on downs. I'm pretty fucking happy if I'm a coach. But Jason Garrett is so goddamn blind to every single thing. He's going to come out there and tell the message to the team, hey, we're okay. You know, we played decent. We need to get better on offense. But you'll never get better because all you do is spin the same message over and over again. Nothing gets across. The same message equals no results. You heard Kirk Cousins today in his pregame message. He gave the team energy. He gave them an inspiration, and they won that football game. They were in a very bad position, 1-2-1, and a very difficult division. If you don't win that game, it's pretty much done, right? I get there's still a lot more games to go. Anything could happen, but it's a pretty bleak situation when you're coming on here and you're having to face, you know, a team like the Eagles and you lose, and you got more games to come against some of the best in the league. The Cowboys are set up in a situation. They're 2-2, 500, right in the middle of the area. If you lose this game, you have to go play Jacksonville next week. Jacksonville. Are you kidding me? I know Jacksonville didn't play great last week, this week, today. And I'm still going to be excited because that Dallas defense against Jacksonville's offense, with how Blake Bortles played today, is still going to be good. But we can't win if we can't score on offense. It doesn't matter how great our defense is. Hell, our defense just had our first interception all season. And we're still playing great. But they haven't been able to get the touchdowns necessary to win football games. The 1 touchdown came on a great pass to Allen Hurns in the end zone. I like that throw. That was a great throw. But it's not about getting 1 touchdown because, again, 7 points will not win football games. Under 20 points, more often than not, 80% to 20% is going to lose football games. You're not going to win football games if you can't get over 20 points. And we're going to spin the same bullshit, right, with Linehan or, you know, all this kind of garbage. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because you've been gifted. The Cowboys defense for years was the laughing stock of the NFL, right? We had a terrible defense. 2013 defense, we couldn't stop a fucking nosebleed. We're one of the 5 worst defenses in the history of the league. Then over the course of the years, you get defensive players because we were focused more on getting offensive linemen, and now we came up here to get defensive players. Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch. You draft all those guys in the secondary, like Xavier Woods. You get Byron Jones a couple of years ago. Chidobe Awuzie. You spent time and effort drafting guys in the 1st and 2nd round to draft in the defense, and now you have a top 10 system. And you have a fantastic running back, one of the best in the entire league, and yet you have been left with complete garbage because you can't convert. Doesn't matter what you do in the first 60 yards if you don't convert in the last 40. Let's get into the fucking stats. Deshaun Watson played really good today. 33 of 44, 375 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He didn't really score. I wasn't able to score a lot, and he took some big shots in this game. He was only sacked 1 time, but he was able to create a lot of opportunities for his team to get the yardage. And again, 375 yards, that doesn't look great, but the Cowboys defense was able to stop on some big plays. Runs that you think Deshaun Watson would get in for an end zone with his speed and his athleticism, he wasn't able to because three Cowboys would come and swarm on him, especially that 4th and goal play where it looked like it was going to be a touchdown, and Jalen Smith had to run from across the middle of the field to the left side and make a great tackle that turnover on downs right before halftime. But Deshaun Watson was accurate. He was throwing to a lot of different receivers. He was very cautious of where he was going to go to. I liked what he was doing personally. His number one target, obviously, was DeAndre Hopkins. 9 catches, 151 yards. His long was 49 in overtime, but he played a great game. Byron Jones, who has been very, very good, probably the number one cornerback in the league right now, coming into this game in terms of what he's done this season. He had a hard time matching up with him, and a lot of people are going to have a hard time matching up with DeAndre Hopkins because he's a possession receiver. He's a guy that's going to be making some really crafty plays, some really good cuts. He's great at running his routes. And overall, he's going to be so dynamic. He's one of the top 3 in the league, top 3, top 4, whatever you want to call him. He's definitely one of those guys up there that's going to be making plays. And it doesn't have to necessarily be big plays like his last one, but he was still really good and effective. Excuse him. Their number 2 receiver was Alfred Blue. Surprisingly enough, Alfred Blue got to play a lot because Lamar Miller was active but did not even take a snap today. He's still hurt. He had 20 carries for 46 yards, not really good on the ground, but he did have 8 catches for 73 yards. That was a big target for him over the middle. A lot of the linebackers would go out to the slot receiver, and he would be able to get in the middle for 6 or 7 to get some nice first downs, close to the first downs, if you will. Deshaun Watson did rush for 10 times, 40 yards. He took, like I said, a couple of big hits that really roughed him up there, but he was there. He got some good yards as well. Ryan Griffin, their tight end, 6 catches, 65 yards. Like I said, Kiki, 6 catches, 51 yards, and their lone touchdown to the game. Will Fuller was not effective. He was hurt for most of the week. Was listed close to a game time decision, but was able to play, but only 2 catches and 15 yards. Defensively, for the Houston, like I said, the Houston defense, Tyrann Mathieu played a great game. This was a really defensive battle, and I really enjoyed watching it. I would have been a lot more happy if the Cowboys won, but the defensive matchups for both teams were absolutely fantastic. Tyrann Mathieu made some great plays. Jordan Reed played his game as well. Kareem Jackson had a great game. The pressure of Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt was just ruthless today. Clowney, obviously the number 1 draft pick from a couple years ago. We all know who he is, but he is explosive. He's dynamic. He's going to make those swim moves, and really just like seeing what he came up with. He was fantastic coming against one of the better offensive lines in the game. With Frederick right now still lingering in the top 10, and J.J. Watt, again, this guy has been a beast. He leads the league in sacks again. Now he's at 6. You got to like a guy like J.J. Watt who's tried to fight so hard after his injuries the last 2 seasons to get back in the league, and right now he is on a tear, back to his old self, really enjoying what he has been doing. That's pretty much for the defensive side, but great stuff there from them going in there. And now let's look at the Cowboys side. Dak Prescott, 18 for 29, 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked twice. Both interceptions, I'm not really going to fall on Prescott. They were both tipped up in the air, and they were just really great interceptions by the Texans defense. So I'm not really flacking him, but for that, at least that part. Zeke Elliott, 20 carries for 54 yards, no touchdowns. I believe this was his worst game of the year in terms of rushing. He came into tonight the number 1 running back in rushing yards, even after all of week 5 coming into this game, but he did not have a very good game. The receiving game was fucking garbage today. Swaim had 3 catches for 55 yards, and that was the leading receiver. Tavon also had 1 catch for 44 yards. Gathers had 1 catch for 32 yards very early in the game as his first career catch. Jarwin actually had his first career catch as well, Blake Jarwin. Zeke Elliott was the leading receiver in terms of receptions. 7 of Dak's 18 completions were to Zeke. Pretty short gains, or when he had to bail him out. He got 1 flea when he was about to get sacked for 1 yard, so shit, it really didn't matter. And Hearn's only catch in the game was the touchdown. Fumbles wise, the Cowboys did recover a fumble from DeAndre Hopkins. It was a great play on DeAndre Hopkins that got us a turnover, a crucial turnover, and I think we scored a touchdown, I believe. I want to see if that's right here. That isn't, then I'm going to be really cheesed on that. Yeah, no, I don't think we scored a touchdown on it, unless if it was I think it was the third quarter one, which would have been good. But anyways, defensively, Leighton Vander Esch, he's had to be the guy since Sean Lee is just. I feel so bad for him. He has the injury bug every 5 seconds, and it's ridiculous. But that's why we got him. Leighton Vander Esch, he is a insurance policy basically. He's a security blanket for this team. He has to be there. Because our number one guy is hurt, and without Leighton Vander Esch, I mean, we got fucking nobody to replace him. So definitely a guy you have to have on this team, and he's done a very good job. Led the team with 14 tackles. The guy is very crucial in having this defense at least a little bit stable in that front seven. So Jalen Smith had a great game, a fantastic game. Just making big hits, very crucial hits, especially on Deshaun Watson. Able to play his role very well. This is a guy we took a risk on because of his injury, and he's playing very good. Byron Jones struggled against the number one receiver in the game. I still think he's very, very good, having his best season by far, and that cornerback role is fitting in perfectly with what he's doing. So I appreciate that. Jeff Heath made some plays, surprisingly enough, because I don't like him. I don't think he's very good, but you got to give credit where he's doing. He did good. Tyrone Crawford, I think, had a great game as well, putting in the pressure. DeMarcus Lawrence did not have a sack today. It was not his night overall. Randy Gregory, fuck off. I do not like you, and I don't think you're putting in as much effort as the rest of the guys on the field. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. Rest of the guys there. Taco Charlton got hurt. I hope he's okay. And Xavier Woods had a crucial interception that would have been huge if we won. When the Texans were driving, we had pressure on Watson, and it was thrown, and we caught it at the 50-yard line. One of the biggest questions is not going for it on 4th and 1 in overtime because Garrett is a pussy, honestly. It's 4th and 1. I know it's near midfield or whatever, and if you don't convert it, you're going to give the Texans a really amazing field position. But if you punt the ball, you're giving the Texans a lot of opportunities to get that ball and waste that clock down for them to win the football game, and that's exactly what they did. After the big DeAndre Hopkins catch, it was game over basically. And the Cowboys team as a whole, or I should say the coaching, has no foresight. They have no idea what they're doing in terms of game planning from one moment to the next because they're as dumb as shit. I love that Chris Richard has come in here and made great things for the defense. I cannot say more about this defense because they have done so well in giving us this game, giving these opportunities for the Cowboys. As a Cowboys fan, it has been embarrassing to see how bad third down percentage has been for the Cowboys in terms of stopping them over the course of the last decade. It has been rough. It has been brutal. It's like watching my A&M team because they were always brutal, especially in the Johnny Manziel era, trying to fucking stop a third down, even long third downs, like 3rd and 12. Just could not stop it. And now you've been awarded that opportunity, and now it's gone. I get that the Cowboys lost a lot of pieces in the last couple of years offensively. You have no Romo. You replaced it with Dak Prescott, the flashiness, right? DeMarco Murray, gone. You replaced it with Zeke Elliott, right? The receivers, you let Des Bryant go, which I did say was necessary at the time, but it could be, because of the contract situation, but it could be a very affordable way to easily come in here and make something happen. He wants to come back, it seems, even though we talked a lot of shit, especially about Sean Lee. But you let him go. He was the number one receiver and one of the top receivers in the Cowboys history. Jason Witten is retired. Cole Beasley has been very inconsistent this year. He was the only receiver since 2010 not named Des Bryant to lead this team in yards. So, you're left with a very difficult position. I understand that. And the Cowboys, the biggest thing is they have no creativity. You have an opportunity to see what this team is, and you know that the struggles are here. You know what is wrong, but you do nothing. You do nothing to fix it. Again, look at the situation you're involved. The Eagles lost today against the Vikings. The Giants lost against the Panthers. A big field goal by Graham Gano. The Redskins are 2-1, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to put it about 90% that the Saints are going to win that game. So you have a situation where the Redskins are 2-2. Let's metaphorically just speak with me, right? 2-2 Redskins, 2-3 Eagles, 1-4 Giants. If you win and you're 3-2, you have a good chance there. And it's a security blanket because next week you're going to play the Jaguars, and everybody and their mama is going to pick the Jaguars, even after the terrible offensive day that they had. They're going to pick them because their defense is really good, and they're going to pick apart one player. Even if they don't stop Zeke, they're going to pick apart Dak Prescott. But again, this offense is so blind to their own reality that they are not creative. They're not smart. You're set up for success. That's all I'm asking. Excuse me, I just burped again. You're set up with a golden opportunity that a lot of teams would love to afford right now. A lot of teams would love a great defense. The Chiefs are 5-0, but I think the 14 points they gave up against Jacksonville was the least they've given up all season. Like, they have given up a lot of points. And against the Patriots next week, I'm not sure they're going to do very well on the defensive side of the ball. Chicago's been afforded a great defense. That's one that's you got to stand out with a great offense as well. They're 3-1. Who else has got a great Rams? They didn't really do very well on defense. I'm not saying ours is better than theirs. Theirs is better than ours, but there's not a whole lot of teams out there that you can say have a great defense and a great offense. And right now you're in this situation where you're just basically throwing it all away. You're throwing it to the wayside, and it pisses me off as a Cowboys fan because we know what the schedule is like. We know how difficult it's going to be over the course of the next couple of weeks. We play the Jaguars, then we play a crucial division game against the Redskins before a bye. Right now, somehow Dallas is favored by 1 point in this game, and I don't know how. But we are blind to the situation, and I want somebody to understand that we need to fire Jason Garrett. Fire this man. I don't give a shit. I've dealt with this stuff for way too long. We lose in the worst way possible, right? Not a blowout, but by just fucking around enough to stay in this situation and then lose, right? What's worse, losing 48-10 or losing 19-16? 19-16, because you gave me false hope of fucking around for how long was it? 68 minutes, 68 football minutes, which is about 3.5 hours in real life. Thinking, okay, we're gonna go out there and drive. You play one drive, okay, good. We scored a touchdown. Wow, we did something good. We scored 6 points in the first half. 6. You're not going to win football games. You give me constant stress in football because every time I got to watch the Cowboys, I'm like, okay, I know our defense is good, but is the offense going to step up? The offense stepped up last week enough, and they fed Zeke as much as physically possible. This week, you have a game plan. You know you're playing against the Texans, who are 1-3. They beat the Colts. You have to go out there and make the plays. And what do? You fuck around and bullshit and never make the plays necessary to win football games. You just go out there and make one play at a time. Like, okay, it's 2nd and 8. Let's throw a backwards pass, see what Zeke can do. You're not smart. You're not creative, and you're wasting my goddamn time with all these bullshit 3-yard plays on 3rd and 11 that will never work. You have no balls, Jason Garrett. You have no balls. This offensive coaching has no balls. As a Cowboys fan, I have seen great offenses and terrible defenses, but it is frustrating to see it the opposite way around. Because even as defenses got bad, Cowboys could go out there and win a 34-31 game. I don't even know if we can score 31 points. I don't even know that's physically possible. Okay? We scored 26 last week against the Lions. We scored 20 against the Giants. I don't think it might not be physically possible to score 30 points with this offense we have right now. Unless if Zeke goes fucking crazy or the defense scores a touchdown, I don't think this, which by the way would not help the offense, I don't think we can score 30 points on as a group. It's insane. I'm baffled. I'm baffled as to why we cannot get our heads out of our own asses. It's ridiculous. It's bullshit. You're giving this on I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know what to say. What does everybody want me to say? It's insane. Get it done. Figure this shit out because I'm sick and tired of watching these Cowboys every single week put on this shit show and never finishing it. I'm gonna go to comments and then I'm out. Horace Bodo, yes, no receivers. Fired Garrett. Coach says yes, we need to fire Garrett. I'm done with it. Redskins or Saints? I'm going Saints, like I've already said. Chiefs don't suck. They're 5-0, and they're the best team in football, and they're gonna probably win, honestly, next week. And you know what? I'm gonna bring this up because Bodo brought this up, right? The Rams were up 2 points against the Seahawks within the fourth quarter, right? The Seahawks have been playing a very physical game against them. Another heartbreaking loss for Kevel. I feel for Kevel right now. We're in the same situation. We're kind of in the same boat, right? But they actually scored 31, so I don't know if we are. Anyways, the Rams go out there 4th and 1. They're near their field, near their own territory, I want to say. I want to say they're pretty close if they are, you know what I mean? It's 4th and 1. You punt the ball. You give if you don't convert, you give the Seahawks a great opportunity to kick a field goal. Their kicking has not been great this season, but you give them an opportunity to kick a field goal for the win. What does Sean McVay have? Balls. He has balls. He's one of the best coaches in the league right now. 4th and 1. Converts it with the Jared Goff run. It's not that difficult to convert 12 feet when it matters. It's not 12 feet, 12 inches. 12 inches. Not that difficult. Run right up there. Just run straight. QB sneak. 98% of the time, you're going to get it. And if you don't, then your offensive line fucking sucks. And at the worst case scenario, you're going to blame it. Okay, we went for it. At least you went for it. Bad teams don't go for it. They don't make great decisions. Oakland's not a good team. They fucking threw the ball at the 1-yard line, and Derek Carr got intercepted. Marshawn has dealt with this twice. Teams that don't make the easy decisions lose football games because they're complacent. They're complacent. They think that they will win because they're going to go crazy, right? Oh my God, we did something amazing. Oh my God. But you never get it done. You got to go for the big plays. In the NFL, you're in the NFL, the biggest football league in the world, and you're going to tell me you're not going to go for it on 4th and 1. Fuck you. Get off of my coaching squad if you're going to do that shit. Ridiculous. I don't know what the situation is with Irving. He only got one practice last week. I'm guessing is that they're letting him in. They're letting him into getting back into the situation and just kind of easing him back in. So hopefully next week he's in there. Wasn't that big of a deal, but defensively. Yes, Robot Guy, I think it's a little bit. By the way, thank you for the comment on the Jaguars Chiefs stream. I do appreciate that. This is the same situation. Patriots ran from Mitch week 3. The same thing here. I've given us at least 1 point there. And the problem is that Jerry will never fire Garrett. This is the biggest issue. No matter what we go through, I almost wanted us to tank at the end of the year last year when we lost to the Chargers and we were 5-6 because again, you gave me false security. Fuck you. We went 3-3 and it didn't even fucking matter. Did we go 3-3? No, we went 4-3. It didn't matter because we couldn't get the games done. We're favored against Jacksonville. I don't really know how. I guess it's because of Blake Bortles and his garbageness. I got to see it firsthand this week. It was bad. It was very, 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 very bad. So one of us is going to go. We can either go 3-3 or they can go 3-3. One of the two. That being said, I'm done. I will be back on tomorrow night for the Redskins Saints game. I'm going to be at Buffalo again with my friends. A lot of friends coming over this week. So I'm happy to see that. By the way, Romo's not gay. Fuck you, Skittle. But yeah, that we're gonna be going to watch that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Take away a little bit of this Cowboys stress, because the one thing is it just stresses me. My heart is beating a million miles an hour. So we'll have the recap there. I'll be a little bit late probably, but it'll be a lot of fun talking about it. Probably Breeze is gonna break the record for most passing yards by a quarterback in his NFL career. So that'll be nice to talk about, and we'll kick back that tomorrow. So thank you guys for that, and stay tuned for more NFL content on the Bottom Line View. It's Dylan. Peace out.